saying that a country is actually already applying higher tariffs to us, either directly or indirectly by otherwise subsidizing domestic industry in their own countries, while not actually giving similar or favorable treatment to US trading partners. If they're already applying that standard, then I think it is fair game for the United States to say, if you're going to effectively apply a tariff to us, we're going to at least level the playing field. The right outcome of that can usually be both countries getting rid of those restraints altogether. And I think that's a good thing. But we aren't really engaging in free trade. That's a myth if the other side is engaging in mercantilism. That was the mistake we made with China. By the way, with the bipartisan consensus in both parties dating back to the 1990s, we thought we could somehow use capitalism as a vector to spread democracy to China. And I don't know if you were in the room when that happened either, but that has been, I think, a miserable failure where we thought we could export Big Macs and Happy Meals and somehow that was going to spread democracy to China. The truth is we thought we could use our money, our investment, to get them to be more like us. They used access to their market, their money, in some ways our money, to get us to be more like them. And so when it's not an even playing field, when the other side is engaging in state-sponsored capitalism in air quotes, which is really just old world mercantilism, then no, we should not be pretending like they're a free trading partner and say that we don't do tariffs in the US. But if both sides are willing to say that we actually don't want restraints or favoritism on either side, and we actually want a level playing field to compete, I think the use of the threat of tariffs as a lever to drive change on the other side is smart, intelligent, and necessary. And that is something I would support.
Ambassador.
Well, Trump doesn't understand tariffs, which makes a coherent discussion of what he's trying to do almost impossible. But I can tell you what I recommended when I was in the White House is that I wouldn't use tariffs, but I would say that I would pass legislation that said that it would be illegal to import any Chinese manufactured goods or services that were based in whole or in part on stolen American technology. And the argument used against that within the administration was, well, that's almost all of it. It would mean no trade with China at all, which shows that fundamentally we have the capacity to do a lot of harm to China because of the way it conducts trade, the way it performs in the World Trade Organization, that we just haven't taken advantage of. It's the Chinese that took advantage in the WTO of the ability to declare yourself a developing country and get more favorable terms on some trade agreements, which is outrageous given China's economic strength. The answer to that, I thought, was declare the United States a developing country and then see what happens.
Very quick, because then we have to.
Yeah. We soon will be if we're spending any more than $8 trillion on a lot of wars that don't advance our interest. I do want to come back to the woman's question earlier, though, because this is the embodiment of the culture and character of the deep state. Okay, and I think this is important for every American to understand. I think a lot of the professional civil servants view the presidents, the ones we elect, who come along every few years, as cute little puppets that come and go. They don't really understand. Actually, I happen to believe that Donald Trump really does understand what he's doing with respect to economic policy, including his use of the threat of tariffs. But I do think when we think about the character of both the economic policy expert establishment and the national security policy expert establishment, there is embedded in it, and I think you see it on stage tonight, a fundamental skepticism of actual self-governance and democracy. The idea that, okay, the guy you put in charge, he really just doesn't get it, therefore it's our job to do it instead. And I think that's actually, we talked about the American Revolution at the outset, that's why we fought an American Revolution. We said hell no to that vision, because that's the way old world Europe viewed it. That the people and the ones who they elect can't be trusted to run.